2 places since the start. Round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Thrive for Life at the minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. Here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malou wins here in Baku. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to Formula OB-1. It's been a long time since we've been here on the Jack Crossley Comms channel, but we are finally back on the Sunday mornings here in the United Kingdom, but of course Sunday evenings in Australia, and that is exactly where you will find us here for the first round of the season at the Albert Park circuit this afternoon, and 14 drivers join us then for hopefully a decent race. This is looking like a lot better attendance than what we usually get here in Formula OB-1, if I can remember correctly, and a few new drivers joining us as well, which is really nice to see. A lot of returning drivers too, so a nice race is going to be coming on. A few people in the chat tonight as well. Drew is here. Is this yours or the league's creation? The whole intro, I made that myself quite a while ago. I've had it for a while now. I've just not used it for the past few streams, but yeah, I made that a little while ago. But yeah, 15 minutes then, everybody, on the clock for qualifying, and then of course, as I'm sure you know, then we go into a 50% race, which should be quite fun with 14 people. Of course, new regulations, radically different cars this season, and with the addition, of course, of Cadillac, the 11th team, and of course adding 2 more drivers, meaning 22 now is the total. And of course we have the Audi cars as well in place of the old Kick Sauber, which is now gone, done and dusted, and unfortunately we do not have to see that bright green car driving around the track anymore. So the Kick Sauber's gone, of course, and the Audi, which is on your screen, driven by Mars at the moment, up towards the line here in Australia, and he's going to start his flying lap. We've got El Majaka over the line with a 19.0. Monkey Gamer then sets an 18.3 in the very early stages. Still 14 minutes left, and a lot of time for drivers to get their lap times in here then, and should be an interesting one. Of course, I've been told that a lot of these drivers have not really got much experience on these new cars. This is the first round of the season, of course, so some of these drivers, it might be their first time actually using these cars on the F1 26 DLC. So it's one that you don't get it straight away. You really don't. It is quite a hard one to master, and you need a good few weeks to really understand the in and outs of this battery management. Now, it's quite a complex thing to understand. Of course, usually beforehand, it used to just be the DRS when you were within a second of the guy in front. And then the ERS, of course, you could deploy for that extra battery power. But now, there's so much more to think about. There's so much more to think about. Of course, you can boost now and use lots more battery. Of course, it is 50-50 split between the internal combustion engine power and battery power now. It used to be about 80-20, 70-30. It was more in favour of the internal combustion engine. Now, of course, the battery is taking over quite a lot of that percentage. So it's going to be interesting to see what the drivers can do and how they're going to manage it. The Cadillacs at the moment looking to be quickest, which is much different from what they are in real life, of course. But sorry, mate, say again. As soon as you were about to answer about the intro, I got an ad. Yeah, the intro. I made that myself. I've had it for quite a few months now. I've not used it for the past few streams, so you've probably not seen it before. But yeah, it's like a little cinematic intro to the stream. Normally makes it flow a little bit nicer. So glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, just as I was saying, it's an interesting one with the battery. Some drivers are going to get it more than others, and you know what we've seen recently in certain leagues is drivers that were winning and doing well in the 2025 original game, base game, now have suddenly fallen off in this one because they just can't get the battery management. And some people get it so much more than others. There's a lot more to think about, so much more lifting and coasting now that you're going to have to do to actually regenerate the battery into corners, and of course trying to think about how you can save the battery and maintain it. to make sure you've got some to start the next lap around, especially in the Grand Prix. Not as much in this qualifying session, of course, as you can burn it all towards the line. It doesn't matter if you run out when you cross the line in quali, because you're just going for the quickest lap. And Clunky Boy then, who has set second place, is on the track again, heading for an outlap, and it's looking like he might deploy slightly there. Yes, he does. And then, of course, straight back off it, but it still burns and lifts and coasts into the right-hander there. It is the fastest first sector then for the Cadillac of Clunky Boy with an 18.0 here in qualifying at the minute, but he is finding time and going faster than his first one around, but not a lot of battery left down here. Still enough, though, to reach him down to the end of Sector 2, and he's found half a second overall at the moment, so the Cadillac looking good here in qualifying so far. Now into the final third of the track here in Albert Park this afternoon, and with 11 minutes to go, still a long time to get lap times in, but Clunky Boy looking to go for pole here. He's got 2/10, now 3/10 of a second a gap to Waben, as his teammate improves by a 10th of a second here, but not really enough to defend from his teammate. Clunky Boy in the early stages of qualifying then over the line. What can this Cadillac do? He will take it away from his teammate. Half a second found and goes on pole by 2/10 of a second then over the Cadillac. Very nice from Clunky Boy. You was pretty quick in the last game. He's quick here as well. Yeah, that intro is meant. I'm glad that you like it. It's good. Yeah, I need to do practice for Texas as well. I bet the battery's not that easy. No, it looks quite a hard one. But yeah, everybody, 14 drivers here, and we're waiting for a few more to set their time. Still 10 minutes remaining here in the qualifying session for Formula OB-1, and first round of the season, always an exciting one, and normally the attendance is at a high as well. But yeah, quite an exciting one, of course, where you know you win this race and you go to the top of the championship order straight away. It's really exciting, and whoever takes it, I'm sure, will be very happy with the result. Clunky Boy looking to be the favourite so far, taking pole over Waben by 2/10 of a second, and looking really strong as well and confident in his car. Mickey Deere in 4th place, has invalidated, so can't go on board with them. Johnny C is on a flying lap, I think. We're going to see what this first sector is going to be then for Johnny, as it's P5 in the Mercedes at the moment. And in the second sector, he has found 500th of a second here, but not really going to be enough to gain many places. Could get ahead of Mickey Deere here if he stays ahead overall on the lap. He's going to get a slight slipstream here from the driver in front. He's punching a great hole in the air, which of course is brilliant down the main straights, but through the corners it does cause some turbulence. Johnny C with a 2/10 of a second gap then, an improvement in the middle sector. It is fastest middle sector for Johnny, but what's this lap going to end up like then as he flies into the right-hander? The 90-degree turn, of course, new only a few years ago here at Albert Park. And now he will round off this lap through the final chicane and to the final corner. What will this lap time be for Johnny C on his first rerun of the day? 1:18.8 is his first time. Now it's an 18.5 here in qualifying. He finds 3/10 of a second. Johnny onto the second row of the grid. Not a bad effort at all then for the Mercedes. As we've got Mackie in the chat. Hello, mate. It's been a while. Good to see you here again. Been a little while. Glad you're joining us this evening. It is the first of 3 commentaries for me today. We've got one now, of course, for Formula OB-1. Then later on at 6 p.m, we've got WRC Tuesday division, because the Tuesday race this coming Tuesday is an England football game. So it is being moved back to this Sunday now, so we can still go ahead with it. And then at 8 p.m, it is the first race of WRC Esports Division. That should be very good indeed. I'm very glad to be the commentator on that, because it's going to be absolutely rapid times, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be really good. So probably not for you Aussies, because it's probably going to be very early in the morning for you when I do that. But for some of the Brits in the chat, or anybody that suits the time better, you can catch me at 6 and 8 p.m. tonight on 2 different commentaries, and they should be quite nice to watch. It should be quite enjoyable as well from a viewer point of view. But Weybin and Monkey Gamer then, both on outlaps at the minute. Weybin in the Cadillac, 1:17.780. Not long ago improved, but we saw was not enough to actually hold his teammate back. Of course, Clunky Boy looking to be the quickest Cadillac and the quickest driver out of all the drivers here at the moment in P1. Monkey Gamer not doing too bad as well in P3. But overall, he's quite a few tenths of a second off the top two here. The Cadillacs are in another league here. It's a 1:17 for both Cadillacs, and the only two drivers to actually reach the 17s at the minute. So it's strong going for them. It really is. It's going to be interesting to see what Monkey Gamer can do here in the Red Bull. The first sector comes up then, and it is a tenth of a second found, which is not too bad, but does really need to find a bit more than that if he wants to get anywhere near the front row of the grid. It feels so far away though here in qualifying time, but in the Grand Prix from P3 to P2 it is not a big gap at all, so it will all change. But Monkey's just got to work on either holding this place now or trying to find a bit more time and get himself up into the front row. It's more than possible. He has to get this final sector right though, and with no battery left, it might be a struggle here to get himself towards the line with full battery. Pushing with the boost mode around the final corner. He runs out of battery towards the line, but Monkey Gamer on a time, 300th of a second improvement, but it is not enough then to get himself into the front row of the grid. Monkey Gamer stays in third place, and the Cadillacs are dominating out in front so far with 1 and 2. But if you're in the chat tonight then, from looking at what we can see, what do you think, who do you think is going to be on pole position? You'll have to let us know. Who do you think is going to be on pole here for Formula OB-1, the first round of the season? We've got a really nice race coming up after this. And of course, will be an exciting one. And with only 5 minutes left, a lot of drivers are coming out now for their final few times of the day. A lot of outlaps now, and potentially fueling for, the chance to do 2 push laps, or it might just be enough to go round and do 1 push lap and then come straight back in. We'll see what the drivers do. But we're on board with Wild Track at the moment, then watching him along down towards the main straight and in towards the first corner. Wild Track improves by half a second there, I think. Not entirely sure, but this is a lap for him anyway. It was an out lap. Said he improved, not too sure how. 1:19.2 though for the Williams so far. Is he trying to go for an improvement? His teammate quite a bit off the pace. Down quick draw in the Williams, down in P12 with a 21.1, and some of the times here are spread massively. They really are, and a lot of it is just due to the new regulations. Some people just really don't understand it at the moment, and I'm sure over time people will. It just takes some people a bit longer to understand it. It's not an easy one to get your head around, and I especially remember just before the game came out worrying about the commentary, thinking that I'd never be able to commentate it because I never understood it when they're talking about it on the actual F1, the actual F1 live. But actually, racing myself now and commentating it now, I'm understanding it a lot better, and it's not actually that hard to understand once you get your head around it. But here's Wild Track then, was up in the first and second sectors. What's the final third going to be for him then? The Williams is foot flat to the floor here at the Albert Park circuit then, and Wild Track from P7 does not make an improvement overall. 400ths of a second down. And that is the end of qualifying for Wild Track, most likely. Well, still a decent lap. Was down slightly, but not bad at all. Mick Adair then has got himself up to third place, and this is looking like a flying lap again as he makes his way, never mind, slowing down, moving out of the way, as somebody has just headed their way through. Johnny C's in a lap then. We'll watch along with him in the Mercedes. What can Johnny C do here in his Mercedes then with 60% battery, and clearly understanding the battery fairly decently then as he lifts and coasts and tries to get the battery restored. Yeah, Drew. You've just reminded me. Daikon messaged me about that. I need to sort that out. That's my bad. I've completely forgot. I'm so busy. Yeah, we'll need to get that sorted. I'm really busy today though as well because it's Father's Day and there's so many different things to go and do. But Johnny C, a tenth of a second then found in the middle sector. Not looking too bad at all, but has to now maintain the gap and keep himself up overall with, of course, the green delta that we get in the qualifying. It's around the final corner and towards the line. What is Johnny C going to do then? 1:18.5 here in quali, but is it an improvement? He improves by 2 tenths, and Johnny C gets onto the second row of the grid. You love to see that then. Brilliant time from him. As Monkey Gamer now is starting a lap, and a few more drivers from behind as well. See if anyone's a bit closer to the line. Biker Craig into the pit lane. We've got a Red Bull of Bonnie on the track, round the final corner now into the pit lane as well. That's the end of qualifying for them. We've also got a Haas driver up, or it might be Cadillac actually. Yeah, sorry, Cadillac making their way around. And we've also got a Williams of Quick Draw round the final corner. This will be in the pit lane for him. No, so that's the end of qualifying for them. Toxic making their way around. I think on a flying, I don't know what this is here. Not a lot of battery in the car. As SD Bookie on the lap as well, a tenth and a half found then. Now the middle sector, 600ths of a second up on time at the minute. The Mercedes looking good. His teammate managed to get to the second row of the grid, only marginally a moment to go. A tenth of a second ahead of Monkey Gamer and not enough to get to Mick Adair for Johnny. But SD Bookie might have enough time here to potentially get near his teammate. He's going to head round the final few corners here into the final chicane with a little bit of battery here to get him towards the line. He'll get the rear wing and the front wing open as well towards the line here for SD Bookie then. What's this time going to be? It is going to be a P7, 1:19, 1:99. And qualifying complete as Clunky Boy at the moment looking for pole. Waben's improving here by 4/10 of a second now around the final corner and towards the line. What can the Cadillac do? Will it be pole for him provisionally? His teammates on the lap too, but Waben not quick enough and falls short here in qualifying by only a few hundredths of a second to Clunky Boy. Clunky is up by 2/10 of a second here too, and absolutely on a roll today. This has been his qualifying session all the way through. And now he's just about to round it off with a beautiful pole position. Clunky is the last driver to cross the line pretty much here, and he's up towards the line with an improvement so far in the first and second sectors. The final third, has it been kind to him then? Clunky Boy does improve by 2.5 tenths of a second, and it's a 17.2 here in qualifying. An insane effort there as Mars over the line to end off quali in P14. No improvement, and that is it from them. Bookie will be crossing the line soon, and there we go. Yeah, Drew, I read your message wrong. I thought you said, chat, we might need a commentator for Texas, but I didn't realise you said we might need to commentate. Yeah, Daikon messaged me last night, literally last night before I went to bed, and said that he's got a family thing, so he can't attend this Monday. So I'm gonna have to try and sort a commentator. But anyway, everybody. Cadillac 1 and 2 here in qualifying. Clunky Boy 1 and Waben 2. Brilliant qualifying from the Cadillacs, who are looking like they might be able to go ahead and take a 1-2 finish in the Grand Prix later on. Mickey Deere 3 then, with Johnny C 4, Monkey Gamer 5. It is Majako in 6, SD Bookie 7, Wild Track 8, Biker Craig 9, 10 is Quick Draw, 11 Toxic, 12 Euphoric. 13 Bonnie, and 14 is Mars. There we go, everybody. Next up is the Grand Prix. Well, I've got to say, a nice week coming up on Jack Crossley Comms, everybody, of course. Extinguished Motorsports will be on the Wednesday at 8:30, I believe. The first round of the season for Extinguished is this week coming up, so should be quite an exciting one for that one. Of course, as we normally have, WRC usually on the Tuesday. It is slightly different this week with the race start, of course, 8:25, 8 p.m. usually the start. That is going to be tonight, everybody, in WRC Tuesday, because, of course, the England match is on. Oh, here we go. Never mind. We are getting into it, everybody. On the track and 5 lights ahead of the drivers here in Formula OB-1. And here in Australia, it is lights out and the drivers get away. Clunky Boy ahead of everybody here. Wabin second place. A great start for the Cadillacs then, but Wabin is being swallowed up here by a few drivers. Going off the track there for the Ferrari, who tries to get himself back on. I think that's Biker Craig then off the track. But Clunky Boy out in front then. Monkey Gamer 2 is Elmer Jacko now in second place. Tries to get ahead of Monkey. They're side by side through the first few. As somebody's into the barrier at the back here. So much wing damage as well that you can see flying through the air. Not entirely sure who it was into the barrier, but unfortunately, there's definitely some wing damage at the back. Why Zucchini looks like he's definitely got the damage then. He hits the wall again. No damage at all. Oh, no wing at all, sorry. Loads of damage, of course. Mickey here in P15 then, and I think we have a virtual safety car here. It's Clunky Boy out in front. Monkey Gamer 2, Elmer Jacko 3, and Wabin on the start loses 2 places, and he's down to 4th position tonight. Not a good start from Wabin, but the VSC will be getting away very soon, and 15 drivers here. Had a little bit of a carnage start at the back, but overall been clean so far. Yeah, Drew, I don't think you've stuck around long enough to see all the new graphics. Around the final corner we go then. Look how far ahead Clunky Boy is. Two whole seconds then is the gap between him and the guys behind. And we go racing again. Nobody's been caught out here with a drive-through penalty, so everybody was within the delta when we went racing. Clunky ahead by 2 seconds here, and it might be a clean sweep for him here. I think he might be able to take it quite easily. He's got so much speed ahead of everybody else. Monkey Gamer then in second place here as Elmer Jacko 3rd, Wabin 4, Wild Track 5, Johnny C runs in 6th then, with Toxic not far behind in 7, and really bringing the fight to him here in the McLaren here in Albert Park, getting so much closer to him. Is wide there goes Bonnie back on the track, and he's now rejoined with the Williams into the barrier for the Red Bull there. A huge crash, and Bonnie hits the wall. No wing left on the car. That is going to be definitely in the pit lane. But Bonnie hits the wall really hard here. Why Zucchini still running at the back here, needs to go into the pit lane. No wing at all on that car. And SD Bookie at the back of the track here with a wing, but clearly not got the pace at the moment. Mars then drops the place here to Quick Draw, who goes through to P9, gets ahead in the Williams, and a great move there through the chicane. As Quick Draw now into P9. Elmer Jacko gets into second place as well. Now Monkey Game is fighting him though, and they're giving a really good battle here. The Red Bull and Monkey up to P2. Majacko now down to 3rd, and Wabin's trying to fight back for the places that he lost on the start. Second lap of 29 here. And Wabin has got a long way to go to regain these places. Clunky Boy, though, 4 seconds ahead now in only 2 laps and taking the fastest lap at the minute. It is level pegging down the main straight here. Elmer Jacko on the outside line. Who's going to take this place here? The Alpine, of course, still in front, but the Red Bull is going to now try and use his battery to an advantage to get ahead. No battery for Majacko. A little bit more now for Monkey Gamer up the inside line. The Red Bull, though, loses his rears and loses the traction out of the corner. Now opens the door up for Majacko to slide back through. Wabin in 4th as well, still holding the place, and with a little bit more battery to the guys in front because of course, being able to sit behind and gain the, regenerate the battery. He now has a little bit more to burn to try and gain on these guys in front. Let's see how it goes then. Up towards the top 2 here, Majacko and Monkey. Here comes Wabin on 1, on 2, 3 abreast into the left-hand side. He does get through past one of the drivers. Elmer Jacko now down to 4th. Waving into third, and now on the backside of Monkey Gamer as yellow flags coming out of the pit lane. I'm not entirely sure what that's for, but the battle at the front is really, really good here with Wavin back up to second place, and of course losing 2 places on the start, now regains them. He just has to work on holding this position now because he isn't going to want to lose it anymore. This is where he qualified. That is where he wants to stay, or even higher, of course, potentially, but lap 3 of 29, and with only 3 laps in, Clunky Boy is nearly 5 seconds ahead of the entire pack. This is looking brilliant so far for Clunky, who's looking like he's going to go ahead and take the win quite easily indeed, but still early to tell, and you never know. A mistake could come from Clunky, and it could all get messed up, but we'll find out as time goes on. And the grid getting fairly spread out now. I think Zucchini with a 10-second time penalty earlier on for speeding in the pit lane as Bonnie has gone around once again, finds himself round on one of the back straights in the second sector, and he's just about to get lapped on the 3rd lap. He retires on the track as well, actually, and that's a bit of a weird sight there, as looks like he was going the wrong way on the track there. But anyway, retiring for Bonnie. Now down in P15 out of this race tonight. The 2 Cadillacs, though, running well up in 1 and 2. Clunky Boy, 4.6 seconds ahead of Wavin now, and running away with it as it stands. Monkey Gamer 3rd, Majako 4, Johnny C 5, then Wild Track in 6. We're trying to find the space and the places here to get through past Johnny, but just cannot find anywhere to do so. Needs to try and, regenerate a little bit more battery around these final few corners here, and that will allow him to get through down the main straight. Zucchini with a 3-second time penalty. Here we go, burning and boosting all the way down in towards turn 1 here in Albert Park. Wild Track on Johnny C. Stays behind maybe tactically here as Wavin with a 3-second time penalty. Not at all what you want to be seeing here from a driver in second place. That's insane lifting coast there for Wild Track, and this is part of the new regulations. You have to really lift and coast through some of the corners to regenerate that battery power. Of course, with it being 50-50 split between internal combustion now and the battery power, you really need to manage that battery, because without it, you're running at 50% of what of the speed. It's so much slower. Biker Craig down with a 3-second time penalty now. Yeah, well, Bonnie says that the rear wing was gone after being shunted into the barrier. That's why they were struggling on their on the laps after the crash, and that's why Bonnie has retired then from the session out in P15. Down in 8 and 9, then the Ferraris are having a really nice battle here, and Mickey there gets ahead of his teammate Biker Craig. Biker down to 9th place now, and seeming to be struggling because already Mickey there pulling away, now 0.6 of a second the gap, and around the final few corners it's looking like it's gaining as well. Oh, yellow flag, somebody's gone around, not entirely sure what that was for, something to do with quick draw, I think, or maybe SD Bookie. The Clunky Boy, it is nice to see. He's absolutely flying, and he was doing well in the last game, and it's looking like he has got the knack of it today as well. He really has. This is some brilliant driving from Clunky as he's keeping himself ahead, and at the minute, the favourite to win this Grand Prix. But if you are in the chat then, everybody, let us know. Who do you think is going to be the race winner tonight? Give us a prediction in the chat. Biker Craig retires, and a safety car has been deployed then. Safety car is out. Biker Craig is out. And now you can see the Ferrari actually sideways on the track there. But yeah, now the drivers are going to go into the pit lane. I think Clunky Boy did miss the pits from being too quick, basically. And now he will potentially go in. He's going to have a big gap to the guys behind. Probably will have a pit stop. Oh, actually, I don't know if he will. I don't think he will. I think he's going to come out behind, actually. Safety car might have screwed him over a little bit here. But everybody coming out then on new tyres now. So many drivers coming out on the new hard compound. Well, hopefully you're enjoying the action tonight, everybody. We have got a break in the action as the safety car has came out. And the gap between Clunky and Webern has now come down to 11 seconds. Is Clunky going to pit? He does. And his mediums of 6 laps are going to get changed now. He will get overtaken as well. He might even get overtaken by a lot of the pack here. They're all coming through. Clunky now being driven past by a lot of the grid. Where is he going to come out of the pit lane now? Then exiting the pit lane in the middle of this pack here. And Clunky comes out, slotting in here with the Williams. It's going to be 5th place for Clunky. And now has to fight from there to try and get back to the race lead again. It's been a decent race, and I have to say credit to the guys at Formula OB-1 because this is a lot better than, you know, beforehand. I think it feels like there's more drivers here than we used to get, which is nice. 15 people starting with today is really, really good going. I'm sure it's going to get better as well. So really good from the league. And the racing as well has been pretty decent. It really has. Bit of carnage at the start, but that is expected on the first lap of the race. We're crossing the line on lap 9 now of 29 when we cross the line, and we still wait behind the safety car, looking like we are going to go racing next lap. So do apologise about the wait, everybody. It can get slightly boring under the safety car conditions, but we will be racing very soon, and I'm sure the action is going to be very nice to watch when we get there. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to it really quickly while we're still under safety car. But this week on Jack Cross the Comms, of course, Formula OB-1 is the one we usually do on the Sunday mornings here in the United Kingdom. Of course, in British time there, 10:30 start and 10:55 a.m. is the race start. Of course, we're already through that and under safety car conditions at this moment in time. Of course, it has been a decent race. And we should be back next week as well for round 2. But it's Distinguished Motorsports as well, as I mentioned. I think the first round of the season coming up this Wednesday, so should be an interesting one to watch. It should be quite interesting. 8:30 p.m. then is the start for qualifying, and 8:55 is the race start for that one. And finally, we will be having the WRC Tuesday division, but that will be tonight, as there is an England football match on this evening. Tuesday night, my bad. So we've got it tonight. So it is out of the way. The safety car going in then at the end of this lap, and we finally get the chance to go racing again. When we cross the line, we'll be on the 10th lap of 29. Here we go then, lap 9 of 29, lap 10 begins, and we cross the line. Why Zucchini with a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision, with quick draw. As we go racing again here in Formula OB-1, and waving out in front, but with a 3-second time penalty, will really catch up with him later on. Clunky Boy, one of the quickest here, but a snap of oversteer there as he catches the car in its slide, but not enough there to get ahead of Johnny C. Very nearly found himself in the barrier. Very lucky he wasn't out here, as now the Mercedes goes wide. Clunky Boy makes an easy pass. Clunky now into P4, and he's charging through the field. Next on his list to overtake is Majako in front. He's got a 1.2 second gap to him. How long will it take him to get into there then is the question. We're going to find out. Clunky in fourth there with Majako in front. As towards the line we go, and here's Monkey Gamer then on the race leader wave. Is this going to be a position gain as he looks for the move on the inside? Both on the same amount of old tyres, but not enough there to actually make the move and stick for Monkey. He's going to stay in second place here. Mars picks up a time penalty as well. It's quick draw down in P13 into the pit lane. The 4-lap old hards. Wing damage there then, I think, as the wing looking like it's going to get changed. I don't know. He's serving a time penalty, actually. Looking like a 10-second time penalty, and that would feel like an eternity in there, as the wing does not get changed. The tyres do, though. Brand new mediums. As Toxic as well, being overtaken by Bookie here as Quick Draw retires in the pit lane, unfortunately. That's Quick Draw biker Craig and Bonnie all out of tonight's Grand Prix. We're getting closer there. Toxic goes, braking later then. He's trying to get in the toe here of Bookie. Of course, will be quite useful when we get onto this back straight in a moment's time. Toxic really trying to get ahead of Bookie here, but Bookie managing the battery a little bit better. Having a little bit more in his reserves then to use now and deploy all the way down this back straight. And you can see the Mercedes with an advantage as he pulls away from the McLaren. Monkey Gamer, for the first time today, sends the move up the inside line. He's ahead then of Waben as Clunky Boy now is through past one. Clunky Boy going through past two, and it is a double overtake for a brief moment in time. But is he going to be able to hold it on the Red Bull? He's not. The Red Bull makes contact with him on lap 13 at 29. Now here he goes again, Clunky Boy gaining here on Monkey Gamer for yet again another position gain. He's going to go around the inside line here and through goes Clunky. Now he's into the race lead as somebody's heading slowly, and it's Monkey Gamer. Something happened with him there as he's down to P6 here. Not entirely sure what's happened with him. Well, SD Bookie then with a 3-second time penalty. Another penalty now to the drivers as it keeps racking up as time's going on. And Monkey Gamer trying his best here to get past Wild Track as well, but unfortunately it's not enough here to actually make the move stick. So staying behind for now, but now boosting out of the corner ahead of Wild Track, who has so much more battery. The Red Bull got ahead for a moment, thought he was going to get it, and then lost all of his battery power. The Wild Track goes back in front. Monkey's back end sliding out slightly here. Wild Track now getting closer for an overtake from P6 here. Can't get in front into turn one. As here he goes again. Wild Track up the inside line, braking later than Monkey Gamer now as he forces him off wide, tries to leave enough room though. He's now on the outside, the Red Bull's on the inside with the advantage, and once again, Monkey manages to stay in front here in Formula OB-1 then in Australia. But Clunky Boy out in front of it. Look at this. He's got 9/10 of a second, then about a second now ahead of Waben. There we are then, the 16th lap of 29, everybody, and in 16 laps we've lost 3 drivers, Quick Draw, Biker Craig and Bonnie, all on the medium tyres. I think Bonnie went first, then Biker Craig, then Quick Draw of course, but yeah, it's a shame, it is, but if we can maintain that and only keep 3, that's not too bad at all in my opinion. But still a long way to go. We are over half race distance now. Migidera on Toxic here. They're going side by side, but Toxic now not enough to actually fight with him. This time runs out of battery again. Zucchini with a 3-second time penalty then for multiple warnings. We're going to have a look then at the time penalties now. The biggest is Zucchini, 19 seconds to him. See you in a bit, Drew. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, Zucchini, 19 seconds of penalty, 6 for Mars, 3 for Toxic, 3 for Bookie, and 3 for Waben as well. And that is going to affect Waben massively as the time goes on and the race progresses. Oh, the back end looking a bit loose there for Majako as he catches it. We see a lot of drivers being able to catch the slide now. I think it's something with the game. I think it's a lot easier to catch the car in a slide now. Well, there we go then, Majako on the backside of Waben here, the driver with the time penalty. Majako not enough battery. Well, he's got a lot more battery than Waben has actually, but doesn't really use it to his advantage here. He's using barely any, saving loads of it up here. Maybe staying quite strategic, and he's going to use it down the back straight. I think that's what I'd do. As Waben is being able to, save some battery, but still nowhere near enough. With Majako here, is going to gain, getting right up the backside of him here, but turning the boost off straight away. Because Majako still can't do it on Waben. The two Cadillacs running nicely, and I'm surprised Clunky Boy is not running away with it this time. He really isn't. He's sticking in. Maybe he's trying to drag his teammate along. Maybe it's strategic play here. But the two Cadillacs seem to be dragging each other along them here on lap 19 of 29, as Toxic picks up a 10-second time penalty then for speeding in the pit lane. That's another 10-second time penalty we've seen for a driver tonight, and it's never that good when somebody gets a 10-second penalty, of course. Not really what you want to be getting. As here comes El Majako then on the backside of Waben again, trying to get in front. Is he going to be able to do this time around? Turns his battery off. He's not going to do it again. Yeah, still not trying it. And El Majako running in third. To be honest, he doesn't really need to get ahead. El Majako's on for second place here with Waben's time penalty. As long as the Alpine stays within 3 seconds, he'll be there. Jacko's still out of it here on lap 20 of 29. Not enough to make any overtakes at the moment, so staying behind. But as I mentioned, he's still on for a second place here. I don't think he'll win it because Clunky Boy really does have some pace. But, yeah, Majako's on for a second place here, absolutely. The two Audis then in 10 and 11 seem to be struggling here quite a lot off the pace. The McLarens as well. SD Bookie, normally he was up there, I think. It's weird to see him in 8th. I don't know what's going on with him. He's got a penalty as well. Monkey Gamer down in 7, was fighting for second place earlier on, but after something happened, I think spun around potentially. And yeah, lost a whole lot of time, unfortunately for him. Here's Mick Adair then in the Ferrari, gaining on the Williams and looks at the outside line there, but then unfortunately just runs out of battery, and you can see how that works. Both drivers now running out of battery. Super clipping comes in. The battery regenerates. Mick Adair up the inside line. 5th place for the Ferrari as he now gets ahead of Wild Track here and makes a great move. The Ferrari loses his rear slightly and a little bit edgy on the exit as well. Off wide he goes now as Wild Track's going to try and get a piece of this. Oh, into the barrier then for Mick Adair. Wild Track goes through. The Ferrari hits the wall. That's such a shame to see then, as Mick Adair will lose a place here on lap 22. And the front few drivers battling well. Elmer Jacko still running P3, maintaining this and absolutely on for a second place finish here. Well, all around the final corner, Majako has a bit of a slide there. He will lose time to Wabin in front. Not really going to matter too much with Wabin, of course, 3-second time penalty to him. And 6 laps left now with the yellow flags in the first sector. I think somebody's heading slowly. One of the Audis, it's Mars, who's really struggling then to keep the car, you know, on the track here. Really is struggling. Mickey Deere in the pit lane as well in the Ferrari, going on to get some brand new tyres and a brand new wing as well as the pit crew get it changed. And Zucchini as well picks up a 3-second time penalty. All over the place is Mickey Deere then. New tyres and a brand new wing. Just trying to find his footing then. That's coming out of the pit lane. Goes wide Zucchini as well. Sorry, no, it was Mars coming out of the pit lane as he rejoins, but being overtaken and lapped by the front few. Because Elmer Jacko's really brought the gap down again. And this looks like a confirmed top 3 here at the moment. It really does, as they've all driven really well and all together here. Majacko saving the battery, lifting and coasting so much further away from the actual corner itself. Oh, hang on a minute. Wild Track and Monkey Gamer as well. That's side by side down here now into the left-hander. Who's it going to be ahead? The Red Bull's got through, but running out of battery. Wild Track's going to try and fight back, but not enough there. Having to stay behind. Majacko getting so close again, and he's all over the place on the exit here though. Is he going to go for a move or not? He's sticking behind, and it honestly seems on purpose that he's not making a move here, because it looks like he's had so many opportunities. As now the battery gets switched on, the boost mode for a brief moment out of the corner for a bit of boost. Still staying behind though, and 0.2 of a second the gap. Clunky Boy in between. Oh, I just realised, my bad. Sorry, Waburn's got ahead. Clunky is holding Majacko back. I don't know how I didn't notice that. I do apologise. Really, really bad for me to miss that. But Waburn out in front. Look at Clunky then, holding Majacko behind. And Waburn is running away now with a gap. It's looking like the Cadillac of Waburn is going to go for a win here. But he needs to gain 3 seconds at least between him and El Majacko. The gap at the minute between Majacko and Waburn is 2.5 seconds. We need 3 more tenths of a second now on 2.7. The gap's getting larger and larger and larger as Waburn's been able to run ahead with it now. This is really good teammate work here. The gap's 3 seconds. The gap is 3 seconds, and Majacko is being held back now. Clunky has one arm on Majacko as he heads down the main straight, keeping him behind, as Waburn will go ahead at the moment and win this race. However, the gap has come down. Yeah, this is some incredible sportsmanship between the teammates, as Clunky really holding El Majacko up now and going round onto lap 27 now of 29. The gap is 3.8 seconds, and time penalty of 3 seconds now is not, of course, really an issue for him. There's a 3-second penalty. He's going to get forgotten about with a 4-second gap, and the win will be going to Waburn as it stands. Everybody. Mars with a penalty. SD Bookie with a penalty turn. Mars actually retiring on the track, but we're too late in now to actually have a safety car with only 3 laps left, including this one. Monkey with a penalty, Toxic with a penalty as well. And this lap soon to conclude. We're not long away from the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, and Waburn, the gap between him and Clunky Boy is actually coming down slightly. As it looks like Clunky is leaving Majacco in the dust now, running away with it. You can see the Alpine just not able to really stay with him. Clunky using every last bit of battery he has. Trying to stay within that 3-second gap, but already looks like a lost cause now as the penultimate lap is here and Weyburn is running away with this one at the moment. Well, Majacco now picks up a 3-second time penalty for pushing so hard to try and catch the guys in front. And as we go round now to start the final lap in a moment, Weyburn will be taking that race win ahead of Clunky. Well, actually, Clunky might now actually be able to go and get it. He's looking like he's going to try and catch. Clunky going for the win. 2.3 seconds the gap now as he's gaining on his teammate. Of course, Weyburn with a 3-second time penalty will lose it on the final lap of the race here if the gap doesn't come down to 3 seconds. Let's see how this pans out then. The final lap of the race begins here in Formula OB-1 then, everybody, on the Sunday evening in the Australia, of course. But lap 29, it's been a great race so far. I'm sure it's going to end on a high here as it's looking like Clunky's going to take the win away from his teammate, let him have a taste of it, and then snatches it right back. Majacco was in the fight, but unfortunately after being pushed too hard by Clunky, he now picks himself up a time penalty. And Clunky, of course, without one, he's now going to reap the rewards and get that race win in Australia for the first round of the season. Weyburn here then, everybody, in the Cadillac was through past Clunky Boy here in round 1 of Formula OB-1, and with a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately, will be losing this race win. But nevertheless, round the final corner, Weyburn in the Cadillac will take the win here for the first round of the season on track. But taken away on penalties, Clunky Boy, who has been strong all evening long. Clunky takes the win then in the Cadillac, and it is a Cadillac 1-2 finish tonight here for the first round of the season in Australia. Johnny C gets a podium at the end, Majacco 4. It is Monkey Gamer then taking 5, as SD Bookie will be across the line for P6 when he gets there. And Wild Track will take that on penalty, so P6 for Wild Track then, P7 for SD Bookie. Mickadair will be P8 when he gets up towards the line. Toxic will be 9, and I think Euphoric will be 9 because of time penalty, so Toxic should be last then at the end of this one. Right then, everybody, that is it from me. Let's just see the finishing results for tonight's race, and I will be done for this evening. Race winner then, Clunky Boy. Fastest lap goes to Clunky 2. Driver of the day for Mickadair. Most overtakes for SD Bookie. And cleanest driver, Johnny C. Here's your finishing results then. The Cadillac drivers taking a 1-2 finish here in Australia, and a brilliant drive from them for the first round of the season. And everybody here, really nice